I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the East End Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Monday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please go to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 120th lesson in our study of Genesis. On Saturday, we covered Genesis chapter 34, verses 25 to 31, discussing how Levi and Simeon slaughtered all the men of Shechem because the man Shechem violated their sister Dinah. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 35 verse 1 and read through verse 15. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 35, beginning at verse 1. God said to Jacob, "Arise, go up to Bethel and dwell there. Make an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you fled from your brother Esau." So Jacob said to his household and to all that were with him, "Put away the foreign gods that are among you, and purify yourselves and change your garments. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel, so that I may make there an altar to the God who answers me in the day of my distress, and has been with me wherever I have gone." So they gave to Jacob all the foreign gods that they had, and the rings that were in their ears. Jacob hid them under the terebinth tree that was near Shechem. And as they journeyed, a terror from God fell upon all the cities that were around them, so that they did not pursue the sons of Jacob. And Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him, and there he built an altar, and called the place El Bethel, because there God had revealed himself to him when he fled from his brother. And Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died, and she was buried under an oak below Bethel. So he called its name Allon Bakuth. God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram, and blessed him. And God said to him, "Your name is Jacob. No longer shall your name be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name." So he called his name Israel. And God said to him, "I am God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall come from your own body. The land that I gave to Abraham and Isaac I will give to you, and I will give the land to your offspring after you." Then God went up from him in the place where he had spoken with him. And Jacob set up a pillar in the place where he had spoken with him, a pillar of stone. He poured out a drink offering on it, and poured oil on it. So Jacob called the name of the place where God had spoken with him, Bethel. After the events of chapter 34, God appears to Jacob and tells him to go to Bethel and make an altar to him there. From Shechem to Bethel is about 32 kilometers or 20 miles. In other words, about a 1 to 2 day journey. Why was it important that Jacob returned to Bethel? Recall back in chapter 28, lesson 98 in this series, when Jacob was fleeing Esau, he came to Bethel. There, Jacob told God if he brought him back to the land, he would give a full tenth to the Lord. Well, Jacob had been back in the land for about 10 years and still had not returned to Bethel. God had kept his promise, but as of yet, Jacob had not kept his promise. And there really wasn't any excuse for Jacob either, because he was so close to Bethel. Perhaps he was so concerned with being at peace and making alliances among the Canaanites that he simply forgot about his oath. But for whatever reason, he had not returned to Bethel. When God told him to go, he told his family, and they went. Before leaving, though, he commanded them to change their clothes and put away all of their idols and the trappings of idolatry, for they were going to worship the true God. Why Jacob allowed his family to keep idols is a mystery, but we know he did, for Rachel had stolen her father's idols. Jacob allowing this, though, certainly shows us a weakness in his character. As they traveled to Bethel, God protected them, seeing as how the actions of Simeon and Levi in chapter 34 most likely made them vulnerable to attack. When they go to Bethel, Jacob built the altar there and worshipped God. He called the place El Bethel, meaning God of the house of God, denoting God's presence. We find that Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died and was buried at Bethel. That she was present with Jacob's family and not with Rebekah tells us that Rebekah had died by that point, likely while Jacob was away. God appeared to Jacob at Bethel and reiterated his promises to him, the same promises he gave Abraham and Isaac. He also reconfirmed his name as Israel. After God left, Jacob set up a pillar and poured a drink offering and oil on it in worship to God. Along with that, Jacob reconfirmed the name of the place as Bethel as well. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 35:16.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we'll be continuing our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord.